Howdy folks, we got a game between Xanatoss and Bulky. I think this will be my rookie reviews playlist. Xanatoss sent this through the PvP Discord and wanted some feedback. Specifically, Xanatoss wanted feedback on a scenario that happened in Tier 3, but we'll get to that when Tier 3 comes. In the meantime, Xanatoss is going for an aggressive well position, and Bulky is also not taking the early well on Haladur. Xanatoss takes this well position here, and it looks like Bulky is going to be fine here. Personally, I think this is actually maybe even a good map for Frost now that Frost can get this well position here like this. I don't have a ton of experience in the Frost map. So Bulky lost one squad of Master Archers, two squads of Master Archers, and Xanatoss has lost one standard. So Xanatoss is ahead for now. But we'll see what Bulky can do with this smart. Nice period to allow home soil and prevent the Ice Guardian from decaying the shield. Swarm for a knockback. Good pick on the scatter.
Master Archers.
Xanatoss is making a lot of Fire Swarm. The Fire Swarm are really nice because they're knockback. The problem is they're quite expensive, and they die to Ice Guardians. I think home soil might be good for Bulky. He didn't knock around a bit though. There's one Fire Swarm down. Good pullback on the Fire Swarm. He's spending his time hitting different contributing damage, so good job from Xanatoss here. And it looks like Bulky's Frost attack is not going to be successful. At the end of the day, Bulky has spent about 50, maybe 70 power less than Xanatoss, but Xanatoss of course has several units left on the board. Bulky has some power back here, so overall both players are fine, I think. The problem with Xanatoss is that if Bulky goes Tier 2 Frost, these Fire Swarm are going to be he doesn't do that. Of course, going Tier 2 Frost is risky because you would have to do it right here, and that could be Scorcher. So I definitely see why Bulky has decided to go for more Tier 1 units. This Fire Swarm, and slight skirmish, forcing out some units from Bulky, so I agree with this move from Xanatoss. Back. He's going to get a couple shots off on the Ice Guardian. It's not really going to matter because the shield will run out. But it'll force him to play another 15 power of Ice Shield. Okay, very good, that's little damage. I think Bulky could be playing some Frostbites to get some picks on these guys. So far, a lot of Tier 1 skirmishing, and Xanatoss goes for the Tier 2. Bulky decides to take a well. So from this point, Bulky will be slightly gaining power, and Xanatoss is going to have a little bit of a problem because he's got all these power bound Tier 1 units. So it's, I think Bulky will be able to be fine. He goes Tier 2 and Xanatoss takes a well, so they're the same, except Bulky got 10x power from having this well up. Fire Swarm going to be putting in good work to kill the Master Archers. Although Master Archers aren't that useful when we get to Tier 2. Nice level build. It killed this Storm Singer as well. And Bulky is doing a good job with his Tier 1 units on taking out Bulky's Tier 2 units. I don't think you need to retreat with all of them, just the one. That Fire Swarm dies. But as long as Xanatos is just microing these tier 1 units and not spending any more power, then he is... Yeah, see, that lava field, I think, was not worth it. Now, you killed an Ice Guardian, which is tier 1. You're gonna kill the Storm Singer, fine. I mean, maybe it was worth it, but I think keeping the tier 1 units alive is not a huge priority. Okay, he baited out a couple of trick, which I think was necessary, so all in all, that lava field did fine. Both players have 2 wells more than their starting position. If we take a look at the power, Xanatoss should have a pretty decent power lead because he's got the tier 1 units still alive. But he did spend some spells with lava field and things like that. So Bulky has a lot more void, which is to be expected because he has less bound power. And they're similar-ish on power here. So game is actually still fairly equal. The lava field wasn't bad or anything, but it's not necessarily getting it. And we see that Bulky has taken an additional well, and Xanatoss is sitting with no, he doesn't take it. I'm not sure where Xanatoss is power. Oh, he went for Storm Singers. And yeah, these tier 1 units here, they're just binding a lot of power, I think, that's going to make it difficult to attack. So I think, yeah, in my opinion, I think that lava field was bad. I think he should have tried to just trade his tier 1 units for Bulky's tier 2 units.
Under attack.
And that would be the outcome of power. Now, this is a lot of power in this one spot. That could be quite dangerous.
Assassins ready to die.
And that corner's dead. Maybe that's some constantly fighting here. Not the best focus fire, but of course Lost Souls looks like... I'm not sure what happened here, but Xanatoss has not good his Storming Defender. That eruption didn't do anything. And this Scythe Beams dies. He could try to get it away and do another Ravage later. Yeah, so this attack is basically doing nothing. Again, primarily because there's 200 power bound in these tier 1 units. Yeah, they're okay, but they're not doing that much. The Kobold trick, I'm not sure was necessary, but it would be fine. All field was good, yeah. Kill those the Dark Elves. And remember this whole time that this well has been up, so Bulky has gained a good 50 power permanent advantage while this fight is on. And no wells were good. The Nasty was not good. That was 150 power wasted. It's like he's trying to heal the things up. He should get a little closer to the well. This is very good from Xanatoss, having the 2 versus 1 for some time. So to kill it. And, Frostbite was a good trade. But you still have to spend 1 Frostbite extra. I expect to see a Ravage on the Scythe, and we see that Xanatoss has taken his 3rd well, more than starting. The Scythe is coming back to go up here. And so they're even on wells again, but again, there's a good 40 power advantage. Let's say 40, maybe 40. Good 40 power advantage from having this well up. Right? Although Bulky has spent 4 power overall, so he has lost more power to the void. But it's hard to calculate at this point based on score because some of that power was quote-unquote lost to the void was nice ball field. So that part that was lost to the void was repaired, so it wasn't actually lost to the void. Actually, that lost wasn't so good. Looks like that eruption was not good. So that would be fine. That worked in the end, actually. That lava field, see, that lava field like that can work against non-frost classes, but against frost, they can just come back and repair their well with a Kobold trick. So, the lava field, in the end, they killed 1 Dark Elf assassin. It didn't even kill him; he's gonna kill it himself. Saving this side games I think is probably good as a tempo loss, but you can heal it up with the shield, and then he can Ravage, and his side games will start to regenerate, and Bulky goes tier 3. So let's look at this right now. Xanatoss has 150 power, Bulky has just 50 power, and Xanatoss has 100, 160, so 220 power bound in tier 1 units. Bulky has 110 power, so Xanatoss has twice as much power bound in tier 1 units, and if he didn't have that, he'd be able to go tier 3 as well. They've got basically the same Void. So yeah, they're pretty even on power, it looks like. Xanatoss traded better, but he had that well down for a lot less time than Bulky had this well down. But yeah, the important thing here is that this tempo, and Xanatoss makes more tier 1 units, more tier 2 units, sorry. So we're talking about this tempo issue. That is a thing to be concerned with, because you just got a whole bunch of tier 2 units, and now that Bulky can make tier 3 units, it's going to be hard to push rank. So Xanatoss goes tier 3 now, but then what was the point of making this nasty, right? That nasty kills everything, so perfectly fine. Bulky's gonna come here, and so Xanatoss wanted to know what was the counterplay that you can use against someone spamming nasty surprise like this. So we'll see a couple things you can do. The most obvious would be to play Glacier Shell, because Glacier Shell is only like 75% of damage. Bulky's gonna get a spot here where you can nasty, there we go. So it does, nasty does easy 5,000 damage to 1. So the second nasty will kill it, and the time is 2:01. So you can repair, I believe, in 5 seconds. So if you used it to repair, that's perfectly fine. But he should be quick to and there's another nasty surprise. Xanatoss has 170 power. If he didn't make this timeless one, it would be even more than that. He can repair these things, right? He can click the repair button and double trick with another one, and that would be okay. The Glacier Shell would also work, but the nasty surprise cooldown is enough that if you basically just get a nasty, then you're not attacking the world any other ways, then you should have time to repair if you've got so much power like this. Timeless one is what he's making right now. This is a bad thing to make, because you freeze them and they still nasty, right? Because right now, these wells are below 1,000 health. Well, this one's not, but this one is. So he needs to be careful that this doesn't die, right? So if he just repairs this one and repairs the orb manually, then he'll be okay against someone nasty. And then at that point, Bulky is just burning more power than he spends, right? Because every nasty Bulky spends is 130 power, so it's 13 power lost. Repairing manually doesn't lose that power. But the timeless one, Bulky can just nasty anyway, so it's just not gonna do anything. There you go. Another thing you can do is Xanatoss has Silver Lancers, so you can just make Silver Lancers to combat Bulky's Silver Lancers. Because the Silver one have such enormous health, then basically the nasty will be 1/3 as effective. Okay. This is not something I really can do. Bulky right now has an advantage because he's kicked one of Xanatoss' walls. Xanatoss decides to go offensive with Bannock. The problem is that means this wall could very well die. We'll see how Xanatoss plays this. Good knockback. You can hit it once, and then that gets rid of the nasty threat, and he doesn't do that. So, okay, couple of tricks.
Your forces are under attack.
That's a bit risky. I think if the Silver Lancers targeted this, they could get it down to 1,000 and then kill it. And you see that Bulky has gone for timeless one. Disenchant on the Brannock. Disenchant Green, I think, is a strange card to play in this deck. If he's nasty, that wall dies. But yeah, I think going offensive versus really walk right to that Glacier Shell is a giveaway, because it's very nice. I think trying to attack with Brannock into Lost Souls is quite hard, because Timeless One is so efficient. Usually against Lost Souls with Timeless One, the best thing to do is to attack a bunch of different spots in one small unit. So he's playing Double Frost, so he doesn't have Giant Slayers, but Giant Slayers would be a good thing to play. Bulky kind of failed that nasty there, which is a good opportunity for Xanatoss, but he's starting to repair, but he has no power, right? So you should go board with this. He decides not even to nasty. Fair enough, but there's the double trick. And now we can nasty into it again. Rennick's still alive, but without heals. Okay, that nasty I think was just after the double trick. But yeah, you can see that at this point the trades aren't going so well for Xanatoss. Lost Souls is quite hard to play against in tier 3. It's very strong, especially the timeless one. You've got a freeze.
The monument is under attack.
Meanwhile, we've got another attack here going on, and at this point you can see that Bulky is just being able to play more efficiently than Xanatoss can play counters. So, a lot of this matchup depends on the deck, right? Because it looks like Xanatoss isn't actually carrying Timeless One. But,
a power well has been destroyed.
Yeah, so there was the tempo. So, takeaway from this, specifically about the Lancer spam, is that you can play your own Zerglin Lancers to absorb the damage from the nasty. You can, in this specific case, Xanatoss had a lot of power, so he could have just repaired his wells manually, and then as Bulky spams nasties into power wells that repair normally, it actually does cost more power to repair the well than it does to nasty. However, the power to repair the well is cheaper than the power to nasty. So if you have like one Silverwind to attack your opponent's Silverwind and to absorb damage from nasty, and then you just repair the wells normally, in this case I think Xanatoss would have been fine. And then yeah, I guess the major turning point was this point when Bulky went tier 3 early, and Xanatoss had all his power bound in tier 2 units, and he still made another tier 2 unit, and that was, I think, a big tempo loss. So, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful to Xanatoss, and to anyone else who struggles with Silver Nasty spam. Thanks for watching.